All right, today we are diving headfirst into the engine room of the modern subscription economy. We're going to follow the money, step by step, through the entire quote-to-cash journey and see exactly how SAP's BRIM solution makes it all happen.
Seriously, just think about that for a second. Your streaming services, the cloud software you use at work, even your car's data plan, they're all generating millions, sometimes billions of tiny little transactions. How on earth does a company keep track of, price, and invoice all of that without total chaos? Your classic old-school systems, well, they just weren't built for this kind of world.
So here's our game plan for today. First, we'll unpack the challenge itself. Then we'll get a bird's-eye view of the BRIM solution. After that, we're going to walk through each phase piece by piece, from the moment an order is placed to the final cash in the bank. And we'll wrap it all up by looking at the complete customer journey from start to finish.
Okay, let's set the stage here. We fundamentally shifted from a world where we sold one-time products to one where we're selling ongoing services, subscriptions, and real outcomes. And this isn't just some small tweak to a business model, it's a massive change that puts incredible pressure on a company's entire financial system. Here's the heart of the problem. You've got this absolute explosion of tiny, high-volume transactions. We're talking every single API call, every gigabyte of data, every minute someone uses a service. And on top of that volume, you've got these incredibly complex pricing rules, bundles, special promotions, tiered discounts that can change at a moment's notice. Trying to handle all that with traditional invoicing? It's a recipe for disaster. You get errors, you lose money, and frankly, you give your customer a really confusing and frustrating experience.
So how in the world do you solve this massive headache? Well, this is exactly where SAP BRIM comes into the picture. It was literally designed from the ground up to master these kinds of complex, super high-volume situations.
At its core, SAP BRIM is this integrated but still modular suite of tools. And if there's one key phrase to remember here, it's end-to-end. This isn't just some billing engine, nope. It's a complete solution that handles the entire financial life of a customer relationship in this new subscription world. You can really break the whole process down into these four main stages. It all starts with capturing the customer's order. Then, you have to calculate the cost for everything they use. Next, you pull it all together onto one invoice. And finally, you manage the money side of things. To make this really stick, we're going to follow a transaction through each one of these steps using a fictional company we'll call Martex Corp. All right, let's get into the nitty-gritty. The whole journey kicks off the second a customer says, "I want that." This first part is all about locking in that deal, and then putting a price on every single interaction they have with the service. So this is ground zero. In our example, Martex Corp would use Subscription Order Management, or SOM, to set up their Workplace Solutions product. When a new customer signs up, a subscription order gets created right here. That order then becomes the master contract that handles everything in the future. Upgrades, renewals, you name it.
Now this is the powerhouse. As the Martex customer actually starts using the workplace solution, making those API calls, using up data, every single one of those actions gets zapped over to convergent charging. This engine is so smart, it looks at the event, checks the rules in the customer's contract, and spits out a price for it, all in practically real time. It's incredible.
So after convergent charging works its magic, it doesn't actually create an invoice. This is a really key point. Instead, what it produces is a constant stream of these things called billable items. Think of each one as a tiny priced Lego brick, a building block, that's now ready for the next step in our journey. Okay, so we've got this huge pile of tiny priced Lego bricks. The next job is to assemble them into something that a customer can actually look at, understand, and, pay. And this is the central hub where all that assembly happens. The main job for convergent invoicing is, well, to prevent chaos. Instead of bombarding a customer with 1,000 tiny bills for 1,000 little usage events, it gathers up all those billable items and consolidates them into one clean, unified invoice.
And this really shows you just how powerful that consolidation is. Convergent invoicing doesn't just grab the usage charges. For our Martex Corp customer, it's going to pull in their regular monthly subscription fee, maybe a one-time setup charge, and it can even pull in charges from partners or other external systems all onto that one single bill. That's how you get that single unified view for the customer.
The invoice is sent, but we're not done yet, not even close. Now comes the most important part, managing the money. That means processing payments correctly, handling any disputes, and, if a payment is late, managing the collections process.
This is the financial workhorse. FICA, or financial contract accounting, is a special kind of subledger. You can think of it as a supercharged, high-speed accounts receivable system that's built from the ground up to handle the insane volume of transactions these businesses create. It takes care of everything from posting the invoice to managing every customer's account balance.
So what happens if a customer doesn't pay on time? Well, FICA automates this with what's called a dunning procedure. It's this really flexible, multi-step process you can set up. It might start with just a friendly email reminder. If that doesn't work, it escalates to more formal notices that might include late fees. And if it has to, it can even automatically forward the overdue account to a collections agency.
Now here's a really cool little detail that shows you the kind of financial clarity FICA provides. Let's say a customer owes $100, but they only pay $80. FICA can handle this in two ways. With a partial payment, that original $100 invoice just stays open with a $20 balance. But with a residual item, the system closes out the original $100 invoice completely and creates a brand new, separate open item for that remaining $20. It seems like a small difference, but for clean accounting, it's absolutely crucial. The residual item approach makes it so much easier to track exactly what's still owed.
Okay, we've looked at all the individual pieces of the puzzle. Now let's zoom all the way out and see how they work together in perfect harmony to create one smooth end-to-end journey for our customer at Martex Corp.
And this timeline just lays it all out perfectly. Picture this. Day 1, the contract gets created in subscription order management. For the next month, convergent charging is just humming along, rating every single bit of usage. Then, on day 31, convergent invoicing steps in and builds that single clean bell. And finally, FICA is there to either process the payment or, if it has to, kick off that dunning process. It's just a beautiful, continuous, automated flow.
So why does all this matter? Well, the crucial point is that having this seamlessly integrated process gives you these massive benefits. You get the scalability to handle pretty much any transaction volume you can throw at it. You get the flexibility to design any creative pricing model you can dream up. For your customer, it means a simple, transparent experience. And for the business, you get the financial clarity you absolutely need to manage your revenue and cash flow effectively. It's a win-win-win.
So, we've seen how SAP BRIM is built to solve the subscription challenges of today. But business models are always evolving. We've got AI, IoT, even more dynamic ways of consuming services coming at us. And it leaves you with this really fascinating question. What's the next generation of billing challenges going to look like? And what kind of systems are we going to need to solve them? Definitely something to think about. Thanks for joining me today.